on Paris. I'm 52 years old, and I've never been anywhere except the Northeast. I've been to, I've been to New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, D.C. I've been to Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. I've never been to the Midwest or to the East Coast. So I definitely have never been out the country. But growing up all my life, I was always taught that Paris was a very romantic, beautiful, peaceful, blissful place to be. But people of America who've been there, black, mostly white, say that Paris is not at all what it's cracked to be. I found a very interesting article on French travel blog, FrenchTravelBlog.com. Why does Paris smell like pee? And it says that it's by Peter, and it says that many people that are visiting Paris and walking the streets of the French capital expect many things. Unfortunately, the smell of pee shouldn't be one of them. So, why does Paris smell like pee after all? Let's take a trip down memory lane before directing the problem. Paris pee box, the origins. In the 19th century in Paris, public urinals were the first places where homosexuals were feeling free to express themselves. Also, they become a space where resistance forces exchange secret messages undetected by the enemy. The Parisian society called these boxes pishes or vespians at that time and were placed on the sidewalks to meet the natural needs of men. They existed in the city of Paris from 1834 until the penultimate decade of the 20th century, specifically until 1984. They responded to the problem of hygiene in the city. Also, they were serving social need since they were places of relationship encounters that were impossible or prohibited in other places. Full generations of homosexuals became independent there. There were almost 2,000 lesbians throughout Paris. The first urinals were placed in the parks. However, because they were so popular, they were quickly installed in various places. The more hidden the place was, the lesbian's place, the more things happened inside. Over the years, these urinals were also used as places to install state and private advertisements. On some occasions, the government carried out campaigns to prevent venereal diseases and installed fences in all the thespians. They were also strategic places in politics. The resistance against the Nazi occupation used the urinals to transmit messages. They even kept weapons in the thespians that were later recovered by other fellow soldiers. In 1980, a change in direction in the rules of hygiene in Paris made these urinals disappear. However, the culture of urinating in the street remained in the subconscious of the Parisian, so did the smell of pee in the streets of Paris. Main causes of the Paris pee smell problem. The fact that French law says that public urination is a crime has not stopped the average citizen. Almost all places in Paris smell like urine. Avenues, alleys, squares, monuments, walkways, or subway stations, among others. Wherever you are, the smell of urine will chase you. But that sounds like America. I mean, I've been, like I said, I've in the beginning, I've been in the Northeast all my life. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, D.C., North Carolina, Florida, everywhere I've been. I mean, you got that all over America. So I mean, that ain't nothing. Nothing. I mean, that doesn't. But I guess because Paris has been presented and painted to me as a much better place than America. So I'm surprised to hear this. Many factors in the city have not allowed the elimination of the urine problem in Paris. In the first place, the French like having dogs. Well, Americans like having dogs. When they take them out for a walk, they make their business in light poles and streets. Well, that happens over here in America too. Not to mention that you can find dog poop on any sidewalk. This increases the bad smell of the city. Well, that's in America. People let their dogs doo-doo all over the sidewalks in America. You find that all over America, neighborhoods, residences everywhere. Of course, resident people have cities and residences have started to crack down on it. If you own a dog, I mean, if you live in an apartment community, I know that they were always sending out notices, emails, and stuff that you must and putting out. They have little plastic. They have these stations installed with little plastic buckets for you to clean up your dog poop after you because they're serious about that. Because when I was living in a very very expensive place I would come out my apartment and there would be dog doo in the goddamn hallway on the floors. More or less the commuted sidewalks and stuff. I mean, people would let their dog doo right there. Anyway, and so, but if you don't have cameras installed, you can't see what residents doing it. So many families have a dog as a pet in Paris. There are even many pet-friendly hotels in the city, which accept tourists and guests with their dogs as pets. Second, there is very high deficiency of public toilets in the city. Unlike other cities in the United States, Australia, New Zealand, or Great Britain, where the location of a public restroom is indicated anywhere, in Paris, there are no such signs. This makes Parisians urinate when and where they need to, so that doesn't make any sense. Like I said, the way they paint Paris is this really beautiful, peaceful, blissful, romantic place to go and spend a vacation. I find that hard to believe. Thirdly, Paris is one of the European cities where there are many homeless people. Well, we have homeless people over here in America. These people usually sleep in the facilities of the city subway station. That's America. I live in D.C., Virginia, New York. Having the need to urinate, they do not seek a toilet. They simply pee wherever they want. Yeah, that happens over here in America. And fourth, Paris is a city that has many places for fun. People find bars and discos throughout the city. This makes many young people who frequent these places when they're getting drunk have the need to urinate at greater frequency. That sounds like America. Like I said, I've been to Paris, but that goes on. I see that's been all over America. They pee where they want. They don't mind breaking the law since their drunkenness doesn't make them realize what they're doing. Well, that sounds like America. That's over here too. So I mean, you're gonna have to stop doing that. Okay? It is good to know that police imposes a fine of €68 to the people who catch urinating in the streets of Paris. They have to pay it to the city. There are many men fined for this reason. From Vespasiens to Euratours. Currently, the French government has established an alliance with a renowned French airline company to develop the Eurotour as a solution for public urination in Paris. It is a rectangular design decorated at the top with a charming flower arrangement. It has the advantage that it not only makes urinating in the street more civilized, but also ecological. The goal is to install this urinal on sidewalks in places where historically have been receiving abundant urine. This container has a dry straw, sawdust, and wood chips with a high carbon content that reduces the smell of urine. Once it is full, between 300 and 600 urine deposits, a sensor installed at the container gives an alert signal to a person who has the role of emptying the urethane. They will be taking the sawdust and urine mixture to a place where it is converted to compost. This compost is transformed into fertilizer for flowers. They do not use it in crops for human consumption. At present, two models are being demonstrated at the Gare de Lyon train station in Paris and in two other cities in France. The company believes that people will use it quite frequently. Eurotraw has been designed in two sizes, based on the fact that each deposition has an average of 450 milliliters of urine. The small size can absorb the urine of 300 people. The large size can absorb the urine of 600 people. Paris pee smell problem, the efforts to improve. To eliminate the strong smell of pee in the city, the Paris government has installed approximately 400 public toilets since 2006 that they call Sanisets, which can be self-cleaning. Additionally, they hire workers who are responsible for disinfecting and deodorizing monuments, squares, and sidewalks per month. See, I believe in public urinals. I believe that they should put sanitizing products in there so people can clean up after them damn selves. Why should certain people be responsible for keeping the sanitizing stalls, the urinating stalls clean? Everybody who uses it should be required and responsible, should have the ability, should have access to products that will allow them to clean up behind them damn selves. Staple it on the wall so that people can't steal the whole goddamn thing and so they can wipe down behind themselves, before and after use. Because if you don't secure it, people will just steal it and take it, especially homeless people. But everybody, to me, in my public opinion, when you go to grocery stores with a public bathrooms, should always have secured disinfecting products in there for people to clean up behind themselves. Some people are not going to take advantage because some people don't give a shit. But for people who care, they will actually clean up after themselves if they have the ability to do so. It shouldn't be up to just cleaning people to keep, public bathrooms, whatever they are those toilet things, whatever. Did you see at the parks or public events, concerts or whatever? Everybody should have the ability to clean up before and after themselves. I mean, there's so many people in and out of there. I never understand it. Why do you think that just a cleaning crew should be responsible? Everybody should have access to disinfecting products, secure it so people can't steal it or take it with them. But despite the efforts they are making, unfortunately, urine leaks to the ground, and the smell remains, especially in the summer when the sun squeezes hard. The issue of urine in the streets is still on the table today. Feminist organizations are campaigning strongly against the actions that the Paris government is taking. This is because their solution is focused on men. They are not considering the physiological needs of women. The Paris government is aware of what these feminist groups are proposing. However, let's say it is much more complex to offer a solution that serves women given their status. Since last summer, the Paris government is providing to locals and visitors a convenient map. It directs the user quickly into places where you can get a public toilet. They even develop advertising campaigns and large street signs to indicate where they can get public toilets. The main objective is to stop people from peeing in the streets, okay? According to the website of the city of Paris, they offer a total of 750 public toilets. Still, that has not made men stop peeing on the street and therefore allows the smell of pee to remain. Yeah, some people just don't give a damn. I mean, it also could be, I mean, I can see a picture. The toilets, maybe they scared somebody will come in up in there and attack them or something, or maybe something that'll harm them. But, don't pee on the streets. Stop peeing on the streets. That's not cool. That's just nasty to walk by and see a man sit up there with his thing hanging out, holding himself, urine in the street. I mean, that's just gross. And that happens all over here in America. It's just, but they say, I've watched several videos, mostly, Edomites, who say that when they've gone to Paris, they say Paris is hard. They say Paris is nothing like what it's been like. They say it's trash all over the place. Which they say it's just like it's worse than. They say that it's worse than New York. Worse than New York. And they say the stench of pee is just very, very strong there. And I was really, really surprised. I used to, I don't feel the things that I'm beginning to hear about these European countries and different things, stories I'm hearing. I don't feel bad about the fact that I've never been there. I mean, because to me, it sounds the way they describe it is worse than what goes on. It's just as bad or worse than what goes on over here. And I know what goes on here. I wouldn't want to get out of a cab and smell the. And I spent a whole lot of money to go on a vacation as a tourist to a foreign country or anyway, and all I smell is urine and pee. It costs a lot of money to go on them trips and stuff. Now I don't want to smell that. I mean, urine is not a very pleasant smell. We all know that. So with that said, you all like, comment, and share, and I'll talk to you all later.